I want to go ahead and dive into uh, this message here. WTS Actual, what's up? How you doing, brother? So I titled this message, uh, "Love God, Love People, Keep the Commands." It's incredibly important. Um, but if we dive straight in, I've got James. What did I do? James chapter 2, verses 8 through 24. Now, there's a ton of meat in the book of James. I love James because it's so straightforward. He doesn't mince words at all. He's just like, as a matter of fact, this is what it is. There's no gray area. You don't have to guess. There is no him hawing. Well, that's not what it means to me. It's like he's telling you this is exactly what it is. So, James chapter 2, beginning in verse 8, it says, "If you truly accomplish the sovereign law according to the scripture, you shall love your neighbor as yourself, you do well." Sovereign, that's like the law of royalty, right? Um, it is, a lot of the modern Christian church just say, "Oh, well, that's the moral law." Well, his law was written on our hearts, right? It's incredibly important to get that fact. It is within us. It is innate within every single being on the face of this planet that the law is within you. You know the difference between right and wrong, good and evil, what's correct, what's incorrect. You know it because it's here. He spoke it and he made a way through the death, burial, and resurrection of our Messiah to put that on your heart. It is within you. So we have no excuse, right? We know. But the word says, you know, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. You do well. But if you show partiality, you commit sin, being found guilty by the Torah as transgressors. For whoever shall guard all the Torah and yet stumble in one point, he is guilty of all. Mm. And that, I believe, that is one verse, one of the large reasons as to why the modern Christian church is uh, so staunchly against the Torah. Because if you break one, you've broken them all. You're guilty of every bit of it. It's too hard for you to keep. It's too difficult. Jesus nailed it to the cross, so we don't have to. But that's not what he's saying. It is true. Yeah, if you break one of the commands, you know, you're guilty of breaking all of them. For he who said, "Do not commit adultery," also said, "Do not murder." Now, if you do not commit adultery, but you do murder, you have become a transgressor of the Torah. Now, the Torah is singular, but it is comprised of multiple commands. So if you break one, you have broken the law, right? If you rob somebody, though you have not broken, the law of don't murder, if you rob somebody, you've broken the law. You've It's the law nonetheless, right? So we have this in our everyday portion of life is to like, we have a law. If you drive over the speed limit, you're breaking the law. It is what it is. Point blank. I'm guilty of that. I tend to drive, either the speed limit or five over. I'm like, that's my happy place. If I'm like 3 to 5 over, I'm good. I know I'm getting where I need to be efficiently, within reason. I don't want to go like 10 to 15 over. I'm too paranoid. I don't want to get pulled over. But anyways, um, so he says, he who said, do not commit adultery, also said, don't commit murder. Well, if you commit adultery, but you don't commit murder, I mean, you've still broken the law. You're still guilty of breaking the law. So how is that any different in life? The correct answer is it's not different. Double espresso, what's up? Yeah, I'm glad you're here, because this is going to dive into some really cool context here. So he says, now if you do not commit adultery, but you do murder, you have become a transgressor of Torah. So speak, and so do as those who are to be judged by a Torah of freedom. For the judgment is without compassion to the one who has shown no compassion, and compassion boasts over judgment. That's what grace and mercy is all about. That is the Father's compassion extended to mankind, even though we don't deserve it. That is grace and mercy. Okay. So in verse 14, James 2, chapter 2, verse 14, he says, my brothers, what use is it for anyone to say he has belief but does not have works? This belief is unable to save him. But I thought we were saved by grace. Saved by grace through faith and not by works, lest any man should boast. The word says that, right? Well, I mean, technically, yes, it does. But there's context, right? See, because what James is getting at here is the idea is that if your faith, your belief does not perpetuate action, what good is your belief? What good is it? And I'm going to draw all of that together here for you. He says, if a brother or sister is naked and in need of daily food, but one of you says to them, go in peace and be warmed and filled, but you don't give them the bodily needs, what use is it? Oh, bless you, brother. Meanwhile, you speak words of blessing, but he's still out there in the cold and the wet, getting rained on, wishing he had food or a cup of coffee. You know, bless you, I'm sure the Father will provide. Never realizing that the Father sent you by there with eyes to see and ears to hear, expecting you to do something about that situation. So it says, so also belief, if it does not have works, is in itself dead. But someone might say, you have belief and I have works. Show me your belief without your works. Show me. And I shall show you my belief by my works. You believe that Elohim is one. You do well. The demons also believe and shudder. But do you wish to know, O foolish man, that the belief without the works is dead? Was not Abraham our father declared right by works when he offered Isaac his son on the slaughter place? Do you see that belief was working with his works? And by the works, the belief was perfected. So it's not enough to just believe. You must have belief accompanied with works. But we'll get into that. There's a line of delineation here that needs to be clearly drawn. Okay? And it says, and the scripture was filled, which says, Abraham believed Elohim, and it was reckoned to him for righteousness. And when you actually read it, it also states, and the Father knew that Abraham loved him. It was reckoned unto Abraham, his obedience was reckoned unto him to righteousness, and the Father knew that because of the works that he loved him, that Abraham loved the Father because of his obedience. Oh, well, that brings us right back around to John 14. John 14:15, if you love me, obey my commands. Oh, it's obedience. If you love me, obey. The Father knew Abraham loved because he obeyed. Right? It's straightforward. So he says, you see then that a man is declared right by works and not by belief alone. In the same way, was not Rahab the whore also declared right by works when she received the messenger and sent them out another way? For as the body without the spirit is dead, so also belief is dead without the works. Okay, so let's go to Matthew chapter 25. Turn straight to it. Wow. One page over. What did I write down? 31 through 46. So Matthew 25, we're going to start reading in verse 31. And see how all of this comes together. This is incredibly important. And when the Son of Adam comes in his esteem, and all the set apart messengers with him, so the angels. So when Yeshua comes in his glory, and the set apart angels come with him, then he shall sit on the throne of his glory. And all the nations shall be gathered before him, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd separates his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then the sovereign shall say to those on his right hand, come, you blessed of my Father, inherit the reign prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. I have a note here saying this is Isaiah 58. So I'll flip over after I finish reading this to Isaiah 58 to see what that's talking about. I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me a drink. I was a stranger and you took me in. Was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you visited me. I was in prison and you came to me. Then the righteous shall answer him, saying, Master, when did we see you hungry and we fed you, or thirsty and you gave you to drink? When did we see you a stranger and took you in, or naked and clothed you? When did we see you sick or in prison and we came to you? And the sovereign shall answer and say to them, truly, I say to you, so in as far as you did it to one of the least of these, my brothers, you did it to me. He shall then also say to those on the left hand, go away from me, accursed ones, into everlasting fire prepared for the devil and his messengers. For I was hungry, and you gave me no food. I was thirsty, you gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and you did not take me in. I was naked, and you did not clothe me. Sick and in prison, and did not visit me. Then they shall also answer him, saying, Master, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or naked or sick or in prison, and did not serve you? Then he shall answer, saying them, truly I say to you, in so far as you did not do it to one of the least of these, you did not do it to me. And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, because the righteous, but the righteous into everlasting life. What did James say? You have faith, but you have no works. I show my faith by my works. And by the showing of faith by works, you are doing it unto the Father. But just because you say you believe If you do not have works and you choose to neglect your brother, you choose to neglect those who are sick or naked or poor, and you say, bless you, the Father provides, but you do nothing about it, what good is your belief? What good is your belief? It's worthless. Your faith is worthless unless your faith perpetuates action. So now let's get into Matthew chapter 24, verse 12. See, because this is painting a picture. See, the top ones, or the disciples, they came to Yeshua saying, explain to us the end of the age. What is this going to look like? And he gave this beautiful synopsis. It's wonderful, written out completely in Matthew chapter 24, witnessed by Mark 13 and Luke 21. My phone is just going crazy. But in Matthew chapter 24, verse 12, it says, and because of the increase in lawlessness, the love of many shall become cold. The love of many become cold. Why? Because of lawlessness. If we circle back to the book of James, forget where it's at. Yeah, I know it's in here. I was just reading. James, here we go. If you show partiality, you commit sin, being found guilty by the Torah as one of the transgressors. For whoever shall guard all the Torah and yet stumble in one point, he is guilty of all. The Torah means law, or, well, it's equated to law. It really means instruction. But it is basically the word Torah is Hebrew for loving instruction that stands as a law. So it is rigid and as concrete, as straightforward as a law, but it's loving instruction. So I had a note here that mentioned Isaiah 58. Is this not the fast that I have chosen? It's Isaiah 58, 6 through 8. To loose the tight cords of wrongness, to undo the bands of the yoke, to exempt the oppressed, and to break off every yoke? Is it not to share your bread with the hungry, that you bring to your house the poor who are cast out? When you see the naked and cover him, and not hide yourself from your own flesh? Then your light would break forth like the morning, your healing spring forth speedily, and your righteousness shall go before you. The esteem of Yahweh would be your rear guard. Is this not what he has chosen for us? To do good things unto people? to see the naked and clothe him, to bring the poor into you, to share your bread with the hungry. And he says, these are the words of our Messiah, Jesus. So much as you have done this to the least of these, you have done them to me. Is it not to share your bread with the hungry, and that you bring to your house the poor who are cast out? And when you see the naked, and cover him, and not hide yourself from your own flesh. You ever been in a city? You're just driving, and on a street corner, there's someone who's asking for money. Now, you got to be wise, because some of them, like I know in Fort Smith, a lot of them are just, they want to get high. And some of them are just straightforward. Hey, man, just want to smoke a joint. Written on their cardboard. Like it's real. But utilize discernment, wisdom, and understanding, because there are some who really do need just a helping hand. I've went and bought a pizza before, and then drove around the building, and there was a man who was just down, and the Spirit said, "Give him some of your pizza." I was like, "Yes, sir." Right? And I don't know what that pizza did for that man, but I could tell he was hungry. He was just grateful to have pizza, to eat. There in that moment, he was grateful to have pizza. So I gave him, I want to say I gave him a $20 bill too, which is when, this is not to say anything about me, but like that's the works. You say you have faith, but you have no works. But I show my faith by my works. Is this not what he desires of you? To love man. And in doing so, you were doing it unto the Father. That is literally the perpetuation of the entirety of the Torah. To love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, body, and strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself. See, because if we go, Jesus said in Matthew 24:12, because of the increase in lawlessness, the love of many shall become cold. Let's go to Matthew chapter 7. Lawlessness, right? Now paint this picture in your mind of this individual, or this group of people, if you will. Because in Matthew 7:21 through 23, it says, "Not everyone who says to me, Master, Master, shall enter into the reign of the heavens, but he who is doing the desire of my Father in the heavens. Many shall say to me in that day, Master, Master, have we not prophesied in your name, and cast out demons in your name, and done many mighty works in your name? And then I shall declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you worker of lawlessness." Lawlessness. Wow. Now let's hone in on this. It says, not everyone who says to me, Master. A lot of people deem the Father as their master, their Lord and Savior. But the word says, he who is doing the desire of my Father in the heavens, he shall enter into the reign. Not the expectation. See, because it immediately follows that up with, many in that day shall say to me, Master, Master, have we not prophesied in your name? Have we not performed many miracles? The sick have been healed, the blind see, the deaf hear, the lame walk. Have we not done all of this in your name? We've cast out demons in your name. He will say, depart from me, you worker of lawlessness. I never knew you. That's because that's the expectation. If you are full of belief, you should by default be praying, laying on the hands of the sick so that they would be made well. You should automatically be casting out demons because of your belief. You should be doing all of these things. Master, have we not done these? He said, depart from me, you work lawlessness. I never knew you. It's because casting out demons and performing miracles is the expectation. That is the expectation, not the sign that you have arrived. Like many people believe. Oh yeah, the Spirit's in them, brother. He just laid hands on somebody the other day and they were healed. Oh yeah, he's a good brother. He's a good pastor. She's a good woman. She's this, she's that. I don't care about the prophetic signs. I don't care about laying on hands of sick. That's the expectation. There's a lot of people who lay hands on people and pray for them and see them healed and do all of these things. But they gossip like crazy. They're hateful individuals. They're stingy. They don't give. Or they're caught in adultery and they're doing all kinds of other things. But hey, they're quick to pray for you. And Yeshua says, depart from me, you work of lawlessness. I never knew you. Well, then how is it that they did all of these things in his name? It's simply because his name is attached to it and his word will not return void. He does all things so that the Father will receive glory. So if his name is attached to it, he must do it. Period. The end. You perform the expectation. I'm not going to reward my children for something that I already expect them to do. Make your bed. Oh, good job. Let me give you $5. No. What does that breed? Entitlement. Oh, we've got a lot of entitlement in modern Christian culture, don't we? This, this prosperity gospel that's being taught. Well, whatever you say in faith, believing fully in your heart, if you got to name it and claim it, brother. You want that Cadillac, you're going to have that Cadillac. They're all screwed up here in the heart. Twisting the word to a fleshly desire. Making the word say what they desire it to say versus what it says at face value. We should not do that. So let's go to John. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. I'll just read John 14 and read a little bit of John 15 as well. But in John 14, verse 1, it says, let not your heart be troubled. Believe in Elohim. Believe also in me. In my Father's house are many staying places. And if not, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go to prepare a place for you, I shall come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, you might be too. And where I go, you know, and the way you know. Thomas said to him, Master, we do not know where you were going and how we are able to, and how are we able to know the way? And Yeshua said to him, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you had known me, you would have known my Father too. From now on, you know him and have seen him. Philip said to him, Master, show us the Father, and it is enough for us. Yeshua said to him, have I been with you so long, and you have not known me, Philip? He who has seen me has seen the Father, and how do you say show us the Father? Do you not believe that I am in the Father, and the Father is in me? The words that I speak to you, I do not speak from myself, but the Father who stays in me does his works. Believe me that I am in the Father, and the Father in me. Otherwise, believe me because of the works themselves. Truly, truly, I say to you, he who believes in me, the works that I do, he shall do also, and greater works than these he shall do, because I go to my Father. He who believes in me, yes, you believe. That's what he was saying. He who believes in me shall do these works. You're going to do them. That's the expectation. And whatever you ask in my name, that I shall do, in order that the Father might be esteemed in the Son. It is for the Father's glory. If you ask whatever in my name, I shall do it. But if you love me, you shall guard my commands. John 14:15. If you love me, you shall guard my commands, and I shall ask the Father, and he shall give you another helper to stay with you forever. The Spirit of truth, whom the world was unable to receive, because it does not see him or know him, but you know him, for he stays with you and shall be in you. I shall not leave you orphans. I am coming to you. Yet a little while, and the world no longer sees me, but you shall see me, because I live, and you shall live. In that day you shall know that I am in my Father, and you in me, and I in you. He who possesses my commands and guards them, it is he who loves me. And he who loves me shall be loved by my Father. And I shall love him and manifest myself to him. Straightforward. If you love me, obey my commands. He who possesses the commands and guards them, it is he who loves the Father. But Master, we cast out demons in your name and perform miracles in your name. Depart from me, you worker of lawlessness. I never knew you. You work lawlessness. He who keeps my commands is he who loves me. And if he who keeps the commands and guards them, the Father loves him. Verse 21, John 14:15 and John 14:21. He who possesses my commands and guards them, it is he who loves me, and he who loves me shall be loved by my Father. It's knowledge. Reciprocation of love. But I did all of these things, but you didn't love me. You said you loved me. You performed the expectations, but you didn't keep my words. You didn't keep my commands. The very thing that proves your love, you refused to do. Simply because you like bacon and eggs in the morning and you want a freaking ham sandwich. You don't keep my commands. You were filthy. Yeah, you're quick to pray for people, but you gossip like hell. You were full of hatred in your heart towards your fellow brother. That's the point. He who keeps my commands and guards them, it is he who loves me, says the Father. It is he, the one who keeps the commands. Can't foot stop that anymore. Let's go to John 15. John 15:1. And I'm just going to read. Yeah, probably to verse 16. I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. Every branch in me that bears no fruit, he takes away. Every branch that bears fruit, he prunes, so that it bears more fruit. You are already clean because of the word which I have spoken to you. Stay in me, and I stay in you. As the branch is unable to bear fruit of itself unless it stays in the vine, so neither you, unless you stay in me. What did he say in verse 21? He who possesses my commands and guards them is he who loves me, and he who loves me shall be loved by my Father, and I shall love him and manifest myself to him. He who guards the commands, I shall love him and manifest myself to him. Even verse 19, yet a little while and the world no longer sees me, but you shall see me. Because I live, you live. And in that day you shall know that I am in my Father, and you in me, and I in you. And he's saying here, stay in me, and I stay in you. If you stay in me, I stay in you. But how do you stay? As the branch is unable to bear fruit of itself unless it stays in the vine, so neither you unless you stay in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. He who stays in me and I in him, he bears much fruit. Because without me, you are able to do nothing. If anyone does not stay in me, he is thrown away as a branch and dries up. And they gather them and throw them into the fire, and they are burned. If you stay in me and my words stay in you, oh, there it is, my words. In John 1:1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was. If you ask whatever you wish, and it shall be done for you. In this my Father is esteemed, that you bear much fruit, to bear fruit, and you shall be my taught ones. As the Father has loved me, I have also loved you. Stay in my love. If you guard my commands, you shall stay in my love. These words I have spoken to you so that my joy might be in you, and that your joy might be complete. This is my command, that you love one another as I have loved you. No one has greater love than this, that he should lay down his own life for his friends. You are my friends if you do whatever I command you. If you obey, yeah, you're my friend. No longer do I call you servants, for a servant does not know what his master is doing, but I have called you friends, for all teachings which I heard from my Father I have made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you, that you should go and bear fruit, and that your fruit should remain, so that whatever you ask the Father in my name, he might give you. These words I command you, so that you love one another. If the world hates you, you know that it hated me first, before it hated you. If you were of the world would love its own, but because you are not of the world, but I chose you out of the world, for that reason the world hates you. Keep his commands. If we fast forward on down, if onto 24, 25, and 26 of chapter 15, if I did not do among them the works which no one else did, they would have no sin. But now they have both seen and have hated me, both and my Father. But what the world might be filled, but that the word might be filled, which was written in their Torah, they hated me without cause. And when the Helper comes, I shall send to you from the Father the Spirit of truth, same as specified in John 14, who comes from the Father. He shall bear witness, but you also bear witness, because you have been with me from the beginning. If you keep the commands, you remain in me, and I will remain in you, and I will send you the Spirit of truth. Let's see. Let's go to Galatians. 1st and 2nd Corinthians, Galatians. Okay. So let's look at verses 5 and 6 real quick. For we in spirit, by belief, eagerly await for the expectation of righteousness. For in Messiah Yeshua, neither circumcision nor uncircumcision has any strength, but belief working through love. Meaning that the strength lies in belief that has works of love. Okay? So if we fast forward to verses 13 through 25, it says, for you, brothers, have been called to freedom, only do not use freedom as an occasion for the flesh, but through love serve one another. For the entire Torah is completed in one word. In this, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And if you bite and devour one another, beware lest you be consumed by one another. And I say, walk in the Spirit, and you shall not accomplish the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusts against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. They don't mix. And these are opposed to each other, so that you do not do what you desire to do. But if you were led by the Spirit, you were not under the Torah. Christian church likes to use that a lot. Oh, we're under grace, not under the law. Obedience does not put you under the law. That is of ignorance. That is a belief predicated on people who take Paul's writings and twist it to their own demise. They are unskilled in the word, like Peter says. Verse 18, but if you were led by the Spirit, you were not under law, under the Torah. And the works of the flesh are well known, which are these: adultery, whoring, uncleanness, indecency, idolatry, drug sorcery, hatred, quarrels, jealousies, fits of rage, selfish ambitions, dissensions, factions, envies, murderers, drunkenness, wild parties, and the like, of which I forewarn you, even as I also said before, that those who practice such as these shall not inherit the reign of Elohim. You shall not. But the fruit of the Spirit, what did he say in John? I desire that you should bear fruit. I am the vine, you are the branches, and if you remain in me, you should bear fruit. What is the fruit that he's working of? What he's speaking of? The fruit that he requires is the fruit of the Spirit. The fruit of the Spirit is works. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, trustworthiness, gentleness, self-control. Against such there is no Torah. These are good things. These are things of the Spirit. There should be nothing against them. Of course there is no Torah against them. Again, obedience does not put you under the law. Disobedience puts you under the law. Because of the curse of the law, it is written into the Torah that the curse of the law equates to sin, which leads to death. But we have grace and mercy. Disobedience puts you under the law because you are a transgressor of the law. And if you do not execute within the desire of the Father, with proof of the fruit of the Spirit in love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, trustworthiness, and self-control, if you do not do these things unto your brother, you are under the law. Obedience removes you from being under the curse of the law. You see how opposite this is? See the truth. Beloved, see the truth. Know, understand. The law is good for you. The law is perpetuated by love. The entirety of the Torah falls under two commands: how to appropriately love the Father and how to appropriately love people. It is love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, body, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. But in so doing, if you are doing things unto other people in goodness and love, with joy, being peaceful and patient and kind to them, with gentleness, proving your trustworthiness by your self-control, if you were doing that with the fruit of the Spirit, that is the fruit. That is proof that you are abiding in the Father. It is not that you are casting out demons and performing miracles. Against such, there is no law. Because it's good. It is what he desires of us. And those who are of Messiah have impaled the flesh with its passions and the desires. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Because if you are walking in the Spirit, you are not under the law. You are walking according to the law. If you transgress the law, you are under the curse of the law, which breeds sin, which leads to death. Again, Jesus said, "Depart from me, you who work lawlessness, I never knew you." I never knew you because you didn't obey. You wanted to do your own thing. Live life according to your own will and desire. Yeah, you prayed for people. But I am bound by my own word to keep my word and do exactly what I say because I said I would. Good job praying for people. Good job casting out demons and performing miracles. But you would not obey the words that I told you. You followed the works of the flesh. You committed adultery, whoring. You were indecent. You were full of hatred, full of quarrels and jealousy. That's all work of the flesh. There's no spirit in that. My spirit does not dwell in that. My spirit will guide you into all truth. Psalm 119 verse 142 says, your righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and your Torah is truth. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. He says, if you remain in me and my word in you, I am the way, the truth, and the life. In the beginning was the Word. The Word was God. The Word was with God. If you remain in me and my word remains in you, you guard my commands and obey them, that's the one who loves me, says the Father. His commands are required of you if you want to enter into his reign and hear, well done, my good and faithful servant. Why? Because all the things that you did unto these people, even to the least of them, you did it to me. Well done. You who show love and compassion. But you who did all of these things or chose to do nothing about the man who was naked and beaten and bruised and hungry and lonely. You were full of jealousy and hatred and distracted by your own quarrels to even do anything out of love for your fellow man. Depart from me, you who work lawlessness. Yeah, you say you had faith, but your works didn't follow it. You didn't bear fruit. The fruit that he desires is of the Spirit. And if we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Because walking in the Spirit is walking according to the Torah. Walking in the Spirit is walking according to the laws and commands, his faithful instruction that is lovingly written out to us so that we would know how to execute life in a way that is honorific of the Father. walking in a manner that brings him glory and honor. Because in the end, you have faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. How well do you love people? Because in your loving people, you are doing it unto him. That's why they're the two great commands. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, body, and strength. And because you love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, body, and strength, you should love your neighbor as yourself. Because in doing so, in loving that person when they are down and when they are out and when they are in need, you are doing those works, bearing fruit of the Spirit and bringing honor unto the Father. You are doing that unto the Father. That's what it's all about. This is the Torah. This is the gospel, actually. This is the desire of our Messiah, that you should love, and that you should have joy and peace and patience and kindness and goodness, gentleness, trustworthiness, and self-control. In all of your works should be evident and fulfilled with the fruit of the Spirit, that those works should bear fruit. So that the individual that you are bearing fruit towards, they should taste and see that it is good, and they would be drawn unto the Most High. Because they have seen your works. And because they have seen and experienced your works, they saw your belief. Full circle. That's what it's all about. So guys, you got it in video form. This is this is something I'm writing a book on. But that's concise. It's straightforward. And I struggle too. But he is graceful. He is gracious and merciful. Nobody wants to hear, "I never knew you." Nobody wants to hear that. But if you don't want to hear that, then what I just spoke, directly out of the Word of God himself, what he laid out before us, that's what's required of you. That's the requirement. Show your belief by your works, and your works need to bear the fruit of the Spirit. That's the formula. And if your works bear the fruit of the Spirit, you will hear, "Well done, good and faithful servant," because it is done in love unto the Father. And if it is done in love unto the Father, the Messiah will remain in you, and the Spirit of truth will continue to guide you into the Torah, in works of obedience. His word is a lamp unto your feet and a light unto your path. The Torah is a lamp unto your feet and a light unto your path. But the lamp requires oil, does it not? How can the Torah, as the lamp unto your feet, burn without the fuel? That is the oil, which is the Spirit. Wise and foolish virgins, if you will. Okay? It is the Spirit. What's up, Buckets? Shalom, brother. But guys, this is the word. I find it incredibly interesting. And I didn't get the what so you have whatever it is that you have done unto them, you did it unto me. I didn't get that correlation until 2 weeks ago when I was having a conversation with an individual. And it was supposed to be a 15-minute phone call turned into 2.5 hours. And the Spirit poured out of me over the phone into the ears of another couple. And the Spirit was working, and the Spirit, through the works of obedience in sharing the truth of the word, unashamed, lovingly, with gentleness, telling them, yes, you are in sin. See, Proverbs states that the kisses of an enemy are deceitful, but the wounds of a friend are faithful. So being able to step back and in love tell somebody, you are in sin. I don't care about who's right or wrong. None of that matters. I care about what is correct. And by the word, if you sit here and tell me that you truly care, you're in sin. But here's what the word says we should do about that. Because whatsoever you do unto even the least of these, you've done unto the Father. And what you have chosen to do, or lack, or works of inaction, those works of inaction were too unto the Father. Weigh it out. Bless you, Desert Jacks. Thank you. And shalom. So the formula, once again, he who loves the Father is the one who keeps the commands. If you keep his commands. Now, yes, you have to believe first, but the belief should perpetuate obedience. And that is how the Father knows that you love him. And if you keep and guard his commands, he will remain in you. And because the Father remains in you, the Messiah will remain in you. And he will send what he calls the Spirit of truth. And the truth will come and remain in you forever. And then out of that obedience should perpetuate works, not of casting out demons, not performing miracles. That's something you should do by default because you believe. If you believe the word says, hey, you're going to do that. It's going to happen. That's not the fruit. That's not the fruit. The fruit is how you treat people around you. You see somebody in need and you take care of it. You see somebody, it's a cold winter day. I had it one time. The temperature just dropped and it was below freezing and it was cold. And no, I'm not sure what the Father did with this. I did not have the money for a hotel. If I did, I would have paid for it. But I had a wool blanket under my seat. And I stopped right at the intersection as I was going to go up onto a bridge. I stopped right there. Got out of the truck and said, hey, man, this is all I've got. But stay warm. It's going to be a cold one tonight. long ways away from home, you know, all of that. So anyways, like that's the works of the Spirit. That's the fruit of the Spirit. It's not beating somebody over the head saying you're in sin because you don't keep the commands. Or in modern Christianity, just saying you're in sin because you can't, you don't even know what sin is. Or you're just basing sin based off of the works of the flesh laid out in Galatians chapter 5. We need to know his word. And in knowing his word, we know him. And when we know him and his character, there's an alignment, and he knows us. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. He says, my laws, my commands, they're easy. They're easy for you. All you have to do is choose to be good to your fellow man. You just have to choose to be good, even when you're angry. Your circumstances don't matter. Your circumstances are not their circumstances. They don't care about your circumstances. But how you choose to act and respond in a moment, that's your choice. Regardless of the external stimuli. None of that matters. What you choose to do right here and now, that matters. In the present, remaining present, and caring about other people across the board. That's the desire. That's the will. I am by far, I don't have it all figured out. I've got my flesh moments too. But by his grace and his mercy, with the help of the Spirit guiding me into all truth and into all righteousness, like the word says he will. That's where it's at. The Father's faithful. He's faithful with his word. And yes, he is gracious. He is merciful. But you cannot have grace and mercy without righteousness and justice. They go hand in hand. You have to have the other side. And his righteousness is everlasting, and his Torah is truth. He said he will send you the Spirit of truth. Well, he sent you the Spirit of the Torah to guide you into all righteousness, which equates to obedience. Again, if you love, obey. Guys, I'm going to leave you with that. I hope this has been a blessing for you. I apologize about the beginning. And you know what? If you don't know Jesus, if you're on the fence, or you've been turned off, you've been clouded out, you've chose to turn away from the Father years ago because of your observation of how people in Christianity respond and act, or have maybe treated you. For one, I want to apologize. I'm sorry. Because eventually somebody has to take responsibility for not just my own actions, but theirs as well. I'm sorry. You've been wronged. But the Father loves you, and he sees you. He sent his Son to die for you. You are not forgotten about. His will and his desire is that all man would be drawn unto him. He wants you to draw near to him just as you are. Let him take care of you. If there's something that needs to change, he will change it. Don't worry about that. He will make that change. But draw close to him. One of the most powerful things you can do is say, Father, teach me your word. He will be faithful to do so. But what you have to do is you've got to put aside all your preconceived notions, put aside anything that you thought it said or what you think something means, and be open to just reading it for what it says. And he'll teach you. He will guide you into all truth. And if you stay in him and you guard his commands and you remain in him, he will remain in you, and he will honor his word. He always does. But to sit here and say that there is not something that we should do, that belief should not perpetuate some form of action or obedience, anybody who is teaching that or preaching that behind a pulpit, that is a lie straight from the pit of hell, and they should be called out for it. Because they are teaching an unscriptural narrative that will lead you straight to hell. The Father truly does love you. Yes, we are saved by grace through faith. We're not saved by works that any man should boast. But you are required to bear fruit. And if you do not bear fruit, he will say, depart from me, you worker of lawlessness, I never knew you. But that's talking about the millennial reign. And there's context that people don't understand. This is the millennial reign we're talking about. We're not talking about salvation. Because there will be people in the millennial reign who will rule and reign with Messiah for 1,000 years. And it will be those who maintain the testimony of Yeshua and guard his commands, because they remained in him and he remained in them. And just because you made it into the millennial reign does not mean you will hear, well done, and good and faithful servant, enter into what it is that I have prepared for you. But you will hear, depart from me, you worker of lawlessness, I never knew you. And you will be ruled and reigned over for 1,000 years by the Messiah himself. And you will be taught his commands the way Scripture dictates. And at the end of the 1,000 years, you will have a choice. Either obey and abide in him, or whenever the enemy is released, when Satan is released from his 1,000-year bondage, you will be taken out by the Father with him. That's the truth of the word. That's the big picture. This is not a save by fear moment, but if this makes you fearful, which it absolutely should, that's the big picture. Those are the ramifications. Yeah, you'll be saved by belief, but you will be outside of the gates for 1,000 years. Guys, if this has blessed you, consider, please consider sharing this video. I know it's long. I don't do short form content very well at all. I intend to do like a 5 or 10 minute video, and it turns into 20 every time I try. But suffice to say, guys, please share this content. I'm trying to grow the channel. I want the words, the truth of the word of God to get out. And this is one of the best ways that I know how. You hear it from my mouth. I will read the word to you. Draw the conclusions together. help you know and understand the truth. But with that said, bless you. Father, make his face shine upon you and give you peace. Father, I ask in the name of Yeshua that you would allow these words to permeate and marinate in the souls and the spirits of the people who hear it. That you would draw all men unto you, that they would hear the truth of your word, that they would obey and abide in you, and you would abide in them, and they would receive your spirit to be guided into all truth and into all righteousness, and they would bear much fruit of the Spirit. We love you, Father. I love you. I want to honor you in the name of your Son, Yeshua. Amen. All right, that's it. Blessings. Shalom.